Good afternoon, folks, and welcome to our final session of Zeitgeist this year. So I think video has been a constant theme for us during the past 2 days, so it's only fitting that we end our 2 days together with a deep dive into this really exciting space. And we've asked Matthew d'Ancona, who's the editor of The Spectator, to join us today to host this session. Now, The Spectator, for those who haven't heard of it outside of the UK, is the UK's leading news and political magazine. It's also the oldest publication in the world. It's 180 years old this year. So Matt, as editor there in the last 2 years, has faced a huge challenge. How do you take a really traditional old brand like that, hugely established brand, and bring it into this new age? So he's established things like the Coffee House blog, which is the most influential blog at Westminster, the most influential blog, I think, in the UK today in terms of politics. So really exciting things in this space. And Matt's been leading the way in bringing that traditional brand online. So I think his background gives him a lot of great appetite to bring into the session today in terms of video, what happens next in the world of video in terms of television and broadcast. So without further ado, let me introduce Matt d'Ancona. Great to have you, Matt.
Thanks. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, and welcome to the last session of Google Zeitgeist this year, which I hope will be stimulating and enjoyable. And after all, who better to navigate the straits of online video than someone who edits in a 180-year-old magazine? I represent, I think, here the shock of the old. And it's a privilege to be here. Online video is now absolutely at the heart of the revolution we're all discussing in this excellent event. Some of the statistics are just amazing. 80% of online users in the UK have also used online video. In America, I think it's 38% say that they have downloaded television programs from the web, and the crucial statistic, which is germane to what we're about to discuss, is that YouTube is the #3 website worldwide in terms of global online minutes. So without further ado, let me introduce to you a man who frankly needs no introduction, Chad Hurley.
Sit here?
Yeah, sit down. Chad, as I'm sure everyone who was at the gala dinner last night must have felt completely blown away by the cabaret, the YouTube cabaret, and I wonder how you felt as the original proponent of this phenomenon. How did you feel like a sort of proud parent looking at your progeny?
Yeah, proud and surprised, because they didn't really tell me they were putting the show together until I showed up last night. So. But yeah, it's always fun to really meet the individuals that have really made YouTube successful.
Yeah.
We did all, I guess, basically the easy stuff in terms of figuring out how to serve these videos and build the site and service. And it's really the individuals that upload videos to our site that really make it something special.
And when you were developing the concept, was there a point at which you became aware that it was going to spawn this kind of explosion of talent and interaction?
You know, we've always taken it day by day, and we're still approaching it that way. We're not really reflecting on the past. I mean, we're really, truly still too busy, and we're always thinking about how we can improve the service for tomorrow. And as we created the site and started to get some traction, we've definitely surprised by the reaction, just the growth, and waking up reading about how YouTube is affecting people's lives in the news, and there's always a new story out there. And I guess there was never really one single point. I think when we first hit serving about 1 million videos a day, we thought that was quite a feat, and then we started plotting our growth to a few tens of millions of videos a day, to around 30 million. We thought, but by that time, 30 million videos a day, that we'll prepare to have the architecture sustain that growth. But it just continued to go, and it still continues to climb, and serving hundreds of thousands of videos.
I mean, as the scale of YouTube has grown, obviously, increasingly people are asking, is the relationship between YouTube and traditional broadcasters one of cooperation, of collaboration, of confrontation, or all of the above?
It's really the combination. You have different types of users on the site. You have the individuals that are contributing videos, and that's relatively small in terms of the overall audience on the site. It's a lot easier for people to consume content than it is to create. And even the people that are creating, there's a broad spectrum of people, of how talented they are, and the chances they have to capture their experiences and yeah, so there's a range there in terms of how people receive a response. But we just truly wanted to make it open where everyone would have a chance to participate, where we weren't making decisions of who was entertaining. The community was deciding that. And you know, that was really why we started it, is for us to upload our own, but have other people have that same opportunity. And the viewers to come on and not to have any of those barriers associated to video in the past, where you had to sign up and go through all these steps to get the right media player on your desktop to play back video. Just simplify it. You come on without signing up, search, watch anything you would want, take a video, put it anywhere you'd want on the web, and just to make it easy.
One of the things I think you mentioned at Davos was that you were looking at new means of sharing revenue with your content providers. Mm-hmm. How's that going now? I mean,
it's going well. I still think we have a long way to go. And really the advertising market, some of the solutions that we're working on that we're going to be releasing over this next year are really going to help accelerate that. Another thing that really helped is Google is actually able to close the deal with DoubleClick. So we were already running on a lot of that technology. Now we'll be able to accelerate the integration with that service.
Can you expand a bit on why the DoubleClick deal was so important?
Just because DoubleClick is more aligned, I guess, with display advertising. Google's just starting to get into that world and been really successful with the text links. But what DoubleClick had is very closely aligned with what we're trying to accomplish with display. And yeah, that'll help us kind of maximize the potential of YouTube. But as Larry mentioned last night, it's been great to have the flexibility to continue to focus on the product and improve the experience for our community, and not necessarily have to concentrate on monetizing and maximizing that revenue, because we feel we want to make sure we get it right. But we have been happy with the response we've gotten with sharing revenue with our partners and users. And it's also quite difficult with the volume of users that we deal with to compensate people on the level that they may expect. It's really maybe closely aligned to millions of people writing blogs, and they put AdSense advertising on their blogs, and they receive a few dollars. And really, that's where we are today, where a few people participate, or a few thousand people participating in the program, receive a smaller check. But there are success stories where there's individuals receiving quite a large response and receiving tens of thousands of dollars on a monthly basis. And these are kids that are basically paying their way to college, and it's kind of cool for these kids to just have fun making videos and get a response and actually start making a living off of it.
And as you move more and more to the center of culture, I guess the bar on quality rises, and the demand that YouTube provide, high quality definition, is clearly there. What are you doing to improve the quality of the definition?
Well, I guess you can define quality both ways in terms of the quality of the video, how good the image looks, versus the story that's trying to be told, is also kind of another bar of quality. I think the first thing that we're doing, we're actually accepting higher limits on the upload, and we're re-encoding in higher quality and allowing people in their account settings to basically prefer if they want higher streams, if their bandwidth can support that. But we've always really been concentrating on the best experience, and that's serving the video as fast as we can, so it doesn't stutter or buffer. And we still have more work to do there, but that's why we always kind of reduce the quality, just to make sure it was a seamless experience. But now we try to have that account level setting, but we also try to detect after you watch about 4 videos, we try to detect if your connection can handle the higher quality stream, we'll try to serve that to you.
Do you feel under greater pressure now, again, with success? I mean, there are more stories appearing about the kind of things that appear on YouTube, albeit only for a brief period of time, happy slapping and worse. Obviously, you have mechanisms in place to take that content down very quickly. But is it a pressure that you're struggling to keep pace with?
Well, I think whenever you're leading any industry, you basically get the most attention for everything, either good or bad. Luckily for us, the majority of the content on our site is great, and we've also been able to set clear community guidelines from day one of what our site's about, and then given the power to our community to flag and tell us what doesn't belong there. So we're really leveraging the power of millions of people to help us moderate the site. So they flag videos brought to our attention or review, and they're removed in a matter of minutes. So we haven't seen it as a big problem. There's always a few videos that get up that may get some attention, but they're always taken care of.
And as you tour the world, as I know you do, I mean, do you feel the threat of government regulation hovering over you?
Well, it's always hard because I feel video is such a powerful medium. You know, if someone writes about something, it doesn't necessarily get as much attention as seeing it in person. And we're always trying to balance kind of cultural differences and also just abiding by local law. And so that's why we have the community guidelines in place. And you know, be it an individual notifies us for community guidelines or government notifies us in terms of legal reasons, review the videos and take appropriate action.
Because when you hear a politician saying that it will be light touch regulation, you reach for your revolver a bit, don't you? I mean, you know that it's not going to be light touch, actually.
Well, I hope they realize that you know, our site and the internet in general is, I think, added a tremendous amount more value than it has taken away from society, and I hope they don't crack down too much on what people can do, because I think you lose the benefit of free communication and the free flow of ideas.
Okay, the final question I want to ask before we bring the users on is about mobile telephony, because one of the dramatic developments in the last few years has been the convergence around mobile devices. What is YouTube doing to ensure that it can be available to people who are in transit and want to see what you offer in high quality?
Mm-hmm. Well, we're always trying to improve the architecture just so we can serve those videos anywhere. And we want to serve those videos to any device, not only to the computer and online, but translating the catalog of video that we have to be available on mobile phones. We have deals with multiple carriers around the world. We have a downloadable mobile app. We've done a deal with Apple for iPhone. So we feel that that's been kind of the next step for us, and it's been a good fit in terms of the type of content that we have. It's been lower quality, shorter form that plays well on a phone when people just are walking around and have a few minutes to check something out. I think there's going to be kind of the next step, and having that integrate in a better experience with a TV. And once that happens, we'll concentrate more on longer form content and higher quality content, but right now it's just not really how people are consuming content online. Sure, it has great growth, but you have great growth when you have a very small base to start with, and I still feel people truly want to watch that programming on TV, and it's just a much better experience for them.
Great. Well, the purpose of this session is not only to hear from Chad, but to hear from the people who've achieved so much on YouTube, the users themselves. So let's hear a little bit from the YouTube users now.
Hello, my name is Charlie McDonald, also known as Charlieissocoollike on the internet, and I am a video blogger, or more specifically, I am a YouTuber. So yeah, I'm a YouTube user because I don't want to let people down, and because everyone is really cool, basically. Surf's up. Charlie, I'm breaking up with you, right? Don't try and call me. I don't have time for you anymore. I'm sorry.
Hello, my name is Peter, and I'm known on YouTube as Geriatric 1927, and more intimately by a great many as Grandad.
Grandad, I think you're becoming a grumpy old man.
Yes, I guess I am, but YouTube has been such a wonderful thing for me. It's enabled me to reach out to people all over the world of all ages and make friends there, and has afforded me opportunities to experience things that, oh crikey, even in my wildest dreams I would never have thought possible.
Hi, my name is Maria Antonieta Sherekhaze, but on YouTube I am known as Mia A. Rose. I'm a YouTube user because it's fun and because I can talk to millions of people around the world at the same time. I live in Portugal, which is next to Spain, which is in Europe, and yeah. Forever my heart is in your hands.
That's it for today. See you again next time. Goodbye.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the YouTube users. Now, Peter Oakley, you are a very distinguished member of the YouTube community, and a very popular one too. And by my calculation, I hope you'll forgive me if I point out that you were 50 when Chad was born. So so you've got a few years on him. I know you wanted to ask him a question about intergenerational relations.
Well, yes. When I made that fatal mistake a couple of years ago of uploading a video to YouTube, not knowing what the hell I was doing, I never knew what a furor it would cause, and it must have been a very slow news day because the media picked up on it, and I was bombarded with all sorts of things, which really at that time I couldn't handle. But one newspaper, I think it plonked my picture on the front, and it had a headline that says, "The Internet Granddad." And so that's what I am, and really that's what I enjoy being, because I think we've got a wonderful platform here whereby more older people, either through my example or whatever, have now had the courage to come onto the YouTube site, and so we've now got this wider generation of people, and I think it's wonderful because there can now be this intergenerational communication, which I think in real life is not really so common. And if people in the younger age group can present themselves in a good way, and hopefully myself, then I think by seeing each other we may be able to break down some of the stereotypical opinions that people have of the old and people have of the young.
Chad, what do you... There you go. Let's stay live. Chad, I mean, you know, what do you make of that aspect of YouTube? It cannot have been something you were remotely expecting when you set it up.
No, not at all, but it's great to hear Peter's story and to really show another side of YouTube. I think so much people like to generalize what YouTube's about, that YouTube's about cat videos and kind of these really just kind of, you know, funnier kind of entertaining videos that are just not very serious or not trying to communicate someone's thoughts or ideas, but really, there's so many things happening on our site, and like Peter mentioned, just, you know, hopefully breaking down some of those boundaries. I always talk about cultural boundaries because we have this global audience. People have a chance to experience other cultures and other people and their experiences from where they're coming from, and I think he's participating not only in that way, but also in terms of you know, different generations, hoping breaking down the divisions or you know, some of the stereotypes between different generations.
Because one of the things that was said about the web early on was that it would drive people into their bedrooms and they'd never talk to anyone, and it would be fantastically antisocial. And yet, in fact, the opposite. I mean, if we look at Mia's story, you know, your talent has become available to hundreds of thousands of... I mean, tell us a little bit about your story.
Okay, well, I came home from holidays because I was in university in Buckingham here in England. And I came home and I decided to put some videos on YouTube just as a joke, you know, to see if people thought I sang well, didn't think I sang well, some constructive criticism, something. But what actually happened was people started liking the videos because I did little amateur videos of cover songs, of artists. And people started liking them because I did them frequently. Every single day I would put a new video. People send requests for different songs. I'd sing them, so I started growing up, building an audience. And through that, in less than a month, I had been flown to America, signed a contract, a record deal, and I'm right now working on my debut album.
So, apart from thanks, is there anything you'd like to say to Chad?
Thank you, Chad.
I'd like to thank her.
Did you have a question for Chad?
I do. It's a joint question. It's more like, who's your favorite YouTube user and who have you been following since the beginning of YouTube?
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. No pressure. Yeah, I do usually get asked this question very many times, and also about, like, what's your favorite video? What do you like to watch? And it's so hard to keep up, because we're receiving so many videos on a daily basis that, and you know, I'm busy too, I'm trying to run the company. I try not to watch them. But it's really that spectrum that I enjoy. It's not one particular genre or one particular user. It's really seeing everyone having a chance to participate in what they're all doing, and just, you know, reading the headlines that, you know, she signed a record deal, or that, you know, reading about Peter and him talking about his experiences being in the war, and just sharing that with everyone on the line. I mean, it's just really neat for me to hear that and read about that.
And Charlie, you've used your site to hook up with 4 other guys in a classic example of micro social networking, haven't you?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
It's a channel called 5 Awesome Guys, and basically we were all... we just made the channel because we wanted to become better friends. Well, we made the channel because there was a channel called 5 Awesome Girls, and we wanted to copy them because we thought it was a really good idea. So we made the channel just to talk to each other. I make a video every Tuesday, and my friends make videos every weekdays, and we just have online conversations. So it's actually Tuesday today, and I haven't made my video yet.
And how much of your time? I mean, I think you're 17, is that right?
Yeah.
How much of your time does this take up?
A lot of it. I mean, I don't usually turn my laptop off. Actually,
right.
I'm always checking videos, and I've got tons of subscriptions that I keep up with.
Right.
And obviously, when I'm making the video, that takes a lot of time. I mean, it takes a couple of hours to edit it and upload it. And, yeah.
It's busy.
Yeah.
It's hard out there. Is there anything you'd like to ask Chad about your what you do?
I haven't really got a question prepared, actually.
But
that's not specific.
You did mention a glitch in the software earlier.
Oh yeah, when we were backstage, I just wanted to tell them that there's actually a glitch on YouTube at the moment.
I appreciate that. We're going to get right on
that. It was a special moment.
Yeah. This is why we love the community. Not only do they participate and upload videos, they help us test the site. I love that.
But sorry, Charlie, do you have, I mean, to take Peter's point, have you found that you've been in contact with people you wouldn't have expected? I mean, obviously, the core demographic of your site must be other teenagers, I imagine, young people, but have people sort of got in contact and surprised you in that respect?
Well, yeah, like you said, the majority of people who use YouTube, and the majority of people I've met have been teenagers and young people. I've been to a couple of YouTube gatherings, and in the UK, definitely, it's usually populated by teenagers and young people. Yeah. I think one of the main stereotypes of the internet, though, is that meeting people online is dangerous, which it can be. But I've got something I want to say, actually. An analogy that one of my friends came up with, who's a YouTuber, compared meeting people on YouTube to meeting people in a nightclub. When you meet someone in a nightclub, you don't know anything about them, and you have to start talking to them, introduce yourself, and find out about their hobbies and what they like. And when you're talking to them, that's when you have to find out if you'd be compatible as friends or whatever. But on YouTube, you watch these people, and they're expressing themselves and saying what they like, and it's kind of the other way around, because you get to know them before you actually meet them, which I think is really interesting, and you can be sure that you'd be friends with them before you even introduce yourself to them.
I mean, have you been struck by the diversity of the people that have come to see your YouTube uploads?
Oh yes, I get all different kind of people, different people from different countries, from different continents, all sorts of comments, everything. It's been quite interesting to meet people through the YouTube, and also the opportunities I've been able to have through my experiences in YouTube, meeting all sorts of people.
I mean, Peter, we saw you being caricatured on the clip as a grumpy old man when you're pretty obviously the opposite. Have you been pleasantly surprised by what you've discovered about the etiquette and manners and ideals of younger people?
Yes, very, very much so. Charlie just had a little bitch about some of the tools on YouTube that didn't always work very well, but they work wonderfully now. The inbox with the text messages is beautiful, and I do get loads of letters from people of all ages, and I'm very moved and touched by a lot of them. For some reason, they just like to see me as the internet granddad, and it reminds them of their own parents or grandparents who maybe, unfortunately, are no longer with them, and so they tell me the story of their lives, and it's a bit like an agony aunt, but they're very moving and very touching. And what I find interesting is also, obviously, as Chad referred to a few moments ago, there's good and bad on the internet, and it's good that everybody is accepted, but everybody is not very nice. So obviously there are many people who are not nice to you, and I get letters from teenagers apologizing to me for their peers who are being rude, and want to remind me that they are not all like that, and of course we know they're not. And Charlie and Mia are good examples of the best of the youth of today.
Can I? We have 2 or 3 minutes in which we can take questions from the floor. So if there's anyone who wants to ask Chad or any of the YouTube users a question, please file. Sir.
Yeah, question for Chad. Eric yesterday from Meta Cafe talked about 90 seconds being about right and 3 minutes being too long. What's your view of long form on YouTube, or indeed generally? What do you think people's attention span is going to be?
Yeah, I mean it's generally in that range. It could be a little bit longer. I mean, I think 2 to 3 minutes is pretty typical video length on our site in terms of what someone's watching. But we have videos that are longer form, up to half an hour, even to an hour in length. And if they're compelling, people are going to watch them. It's just not the majority of the video views. I think people watch shorter clips online just because it fits in with the other activities that they're doing. Between email and visiting other websites, they have a chance to watch a few videos quickly. It's not something you're going to sit down and commit a long time to do. So that's what we see as well. It's just a few minutes.
And for the users, what's been your experience of your most successful length?
Most successful length?
For the users, for Charlie and Mia. And, what are you doing? What are you uploading? 3 minutes at a time? 5 minutes?
Pretty much. For me, at least.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I can get carried away, and as you have discovered. But it's interesting that we have this community, but we have all made friends, and some friends become more friendly than others. And within the whole concept, you have an inner circle of friends. So if you feel you've got something that you would like to say about a subject that they might be interested in, then I think it's okay to go on, knowing that those that aren't interested will have clicked off after the first minute. But as everybody else has said, 3 minutes is pretty well maximum, I think, for the attention span.
Any other questions? Time for one more, I think. If anyone has a question for the YouTube gang? Okay, well, please join me in thanking the YouTube users, and we'll be hearing more from Chad later on.